Hey, this is going to be a story about a personal experience of mine, and I would like to know if any of you have ever had this happen, or anything like this happen. If you have, as always, please feel free to share with me, or share in the comments section. This happened on December 4th, 2015, and I just had to check in my Inkpad Notepad account because I wrote it down as a note on the day it happened. So I checked the date on when this happened. But this occurrence was very strange. Of course, I've had many of them, many strange occurrences, as I've stated before, throughout my life. But this person that I used to know, and they were pretty good friends with me in elementary school. I was at Dollar General. I was at the dollar store, and when we walked out, throughout the store, I seen this boy in there with his father or grandfather, and he was about 5 or 6 years old. And it made me feel very weird because he looked just exactly like a boy that I went to school with in elementary school. But I thought, man, he looks just like this boy that I had went to elementary school with, and he should be my age right now. And he even dressed like people did when, in the early 2000s, when I was in elementary school. He dressed like that, and he acted like that. He looked just like him. I could have guaranteed you that it was him. And that's not the strangest part yet. When he walked by with his father or grandfather to go to their truck, it was an old truck. It was, I believe it was an old Ford type truck. And he walked to it, and he just stared at me the entire time. And we stared at each other in awe, like we knew each other. But he shouldn't have known me because he was about 5 or 6 years old. But I went to school with a boy that looked just like him. It's like it was him, like another version of him. He's just now growing up. And when I seen him, he stared at me, and he continued to look at me for roughly a minute as they got into the truck, and then he turned around at the adult that was with him, and then he looked over at me and pointed, and the words he said at the same time as I did, but he looked at me and stated, he said, "I know him." And he pointed. There's no way he should have known me unless he suddenly had that memory, the memory of me, of being a friend of mine in elementary school. But he was only old enough to be in elementary school himself right then. But he had the same memory of me. He had a memory of knowing me. And I knew him from elementary school, even though he's just now growing up here. And I can't find this child in my yearbook. I can't find him in my yearbook. It's like he's just now growing up here. And that was a strange experience. I don't know how to explain it, but it was a strange experience. And he looked at me, and just like I stated, he said, "I know him. I know that guy." And that's what he stated. I know him. That's the words he mouthed, and he pointed at me, and we were staring at each other in awe for a few moments, and he still stared at me when his the adult that was with him backed up and drove off in that truck. And we stared at each other in awe for like we knew each other. It was like I was looking at the boy I went to school with, but he was still 5 or 6 years old in this world. It's almost like he's just now growing up. But he dressed like someone that, when I went to school, he dressed like people of that time, the early 2000s, in elementary school at that time. And I'll never forget that experience. I can't find him in my yearbook, and I have memories of him in my mind, but I can't find him, and I can't remember. It's like my mind cannot remember his name now, but I couldn't. When I went to look him up, I remembered, and I couldn't find him in my yearbook, but now I can't remember. It's like the memory's trying to fade from my mind, but he should be my age, but yet there he was. There he was, or seemingly another version of him, maybe. That's the only thing that I can even fathom out of that. That's all that I can really, well, that's the only thing I can convey out of it, is that it seemed to be another version of him, or a look-alike. And he looked at me and knew, and suddenly had that memory of that alternate occurrence or experience. I don't really know how else to explain that, but he suddenly said, when he said, I know him, I know that guy, and that's what I was saying. I know that kid, I know that child, I know him. And that's what I said to my mama, and that's what he said to his parent or grandparent right then. But it was like I was looking at the person that I went to elementary school with, and he knew me, I knew him, but that would have been impossible for him to be that age. I mean, he would have had to have he would have had to have gone back 14 or 15 years in his existence for that to have happened. But yeah, it's like he was just now growing up, and I can't find him in my yearbook. I couldn't find him in my yearbook, and it's like it was like I was looking at another version of him growing up, but he's just now growing up now. But the one I remember doesn't exist here anymore. Pretty crazy, pretty insane. Like I said this experience was going to be different, and I've got other experiences and more experiences to share that I look forward to sharing in the future. But this has just been a quick video that I wanted to share, and hope I didn't make it too long. And if you made it to the end, I would like to say thank you so much, and let me know if you've experienced anything like this. Anyone out there, please feel free to share. And if you have an experience to get off your mind and just share with me, please feel free to share, because I completely understand the crazy occurrences, experiences, and situations and things that happen. I completely understand. Feel free to share them. And just share in the comment section. I have a very open mind when it comes to these types of things, because I have experienced much in my life that is unexplainable and leaves a lot of explaining to do, and there are things that are beyond comprehension and beyond understanding. And this is one of them. That was one of those situations that I couldn't explain at the time, but I knew. It's almost like I knew what it was. It's like another version of him was there, just now growing up. So that was my personal experience. Please, as always, feel free to share in the comment section if you've experienced anything like this, or just anything you want to share. Much love to you all, and I'm going to go ahead and close this video now. And in closing, I'd like to say Much love to you all as always, as I just stated, and peace, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.